You've heard me speak about a perfect storm that is hitting our culture, creating a situation that is very dangerous. I cannot think of a more potent day to be speaking about this when we learn about Amanda Todd's online experience that was ultimately a key factor in concluding that life was not worth living. One of our most important initiatives here at Crossroads is CrossroadsTV, a way for us to take the message of God's love directly to the internet, where so many people, especially younger people, spend so much of their time. You responded immediately and with incredible support for this project, telling us you understand the need. The support for it was broad, with some very large donations given, including business owners and community leaders who are seeing the effects of the internet firsthand. And one elderly person called and said, "I don't know much about it, and I don't have that much, but I can see you need to do this." And she gave $92. She was 92 years old. I'm here today with our team leader, George McEachern, who does not come on the air very often, but is never very far away. Usually he's behind the scenes. And George, you've been looking after 100 Huntley Street for 35 years. You're a very busy person, but you asked to lead this important project. Why?
Well, Don, about 35 years ago when I made the decision to come to Crossroads, I was struggling with the idea as to whether to be a pastor or whether to go into media, into television. I was working at Global Television. And so I decided to come here because I had a desire to win people to Christ, to build those up in the faith. And I remember David Main saying to me, the struggle I had with being a pastor, he said, "We're together going to pastor the nation through television production." So the same reason why I came 35 years ago is the same passion that I have right now in relation to Crossroads TV.
And then tell us about Crossroads. Let's make sure that our viewers really understand what it is.
Crossroads TV is an online media platform. One of the things that I love about the internet is that it's 24/7, it's everywhere. And 100 Huntley Street has this window of 60 minutes a day over-the-air broadcast, which can be limiting. The internet breaks it open to where there's not going to be stories that fall between the cracks. We'll have time and place to position the wonderful stories that God brings to us.
And George, some of our viewers get confused. When we say content and distribution, can you help us understand those two concepts?
Yeah, well, content is what we've been doing for 50 years. We produce stories about God, where God's at work, through testimonies, through on the field, wherever it may be. That's what we do. God has provided us through our wonderful partners this beautiful broadcast center where we can produce content, video production that shares about the glory of God, the wonder of God. The distribution is how we get it out to the people. Right now, we're on 100 Huntley Street. It's through Global Television as well as CTS. But the internet is a means by which we get it all around the world. Anywhere, anytime, any place is what I say.
And George, we had talked about an October launch, and I know from working with the team as well that the pieces, the platform, the content, the search engines, it's a very big development project, and we're close. And don't want to set an exact date, but we're working on it. It's very close, and all those pieces have to be together at the same time. But I don't want to talk about that with you at the moment, because you also have a story that is personal about suicide.
Yes, and people have heard this. I've shared my story on 100 Huntley Street throughout the years, and I too struggled with depression and drug use in my teen years. It was the drug use that created the depression. It was the drug use, I believe, and the depression that put me in a position when I was 19 years old to attempt to take my own life through cutting my wrists, overdosing, and ended up in Lakeshore Psychiatric Hospital. Through that time, though, Don, there was a young kid sharing the gospel with me, even prior to that time. That's the hope that I clung to. Even though I was struggling, that evil that Jerry and Jim were talking about, it was that seed that was planted from a young person. That's why I have a passion for young people as well. It was
George,
that seed.
Then tell me, Crossroads TV.
Yeah.
We put our content on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
If we had been there, could we have helped Amanda Todd?
I think so. That's where young people are. When I was 19 years old, this wasn't even thought of. But right now, today, 2012, we know that young people are all over the internet. That's where they park. That's where they're looking for their content. That's where they're looking for their video. That's where they're communicating with one another. And I believe with Crossroads TV, that's exactly what we want to do. We want to pour into that all sorts of content. Now, the interesting thing to me, Don, the wonderful thing is that we have 7 channels, and I'll just quickly go to them because we're going to have God stories. That's what we hear on 100 Huntley Street every day, the testimonies, or out on the field where we're getting special events. Exploring faith, tough questions, everyday life, parenting, and relationships. A music channel, a nostalgia channel where you can go back and look at, and a care aspect, as well as we'll be telling them about special events. So there's a big array of and a variety and a diversity that I think can meet all people at all stages and all ages of their spiritual journey.
So we have to be there.
We have to be there,
Online.
and we will be there.